I think what's for a lot of people, what tends to be really important is their ability to educate and build trust at that event.
Yes.
And it's tough to do it just from the stand. So if you don't have a leader from your company that's actually speaking organically from the stage, ideally with their own session, not sharing it with 5 or 6 other people at a good time slot in the event, it can be tough to gauge whether you're really moving. Events, I think, are phenomenal. The tough part with events is the holy grail is most people, what they really need is more educational session minutes with people from their target account list. Ideally, the decision-making committee from the target account list. And what we're seeing increasingly is that's best accomplished with hosting an event where you get to decide who gets to get who gets invited. What you talk about, the time of day, everything, where you control everything. And it looks a lot more like hosting your own micro events. And everyone's like, well, no, events are really complicated and really expensive. I'm like, I don't know. A lot of people, if they have a classroom or a conference room or can handle doing webinars, they have a lot more of the building blocks than they likely realize.
Yeah. So again, that's those kind of more intimate events are a pivotal piece of our marketing mix. We not only do we do kind of your lunch and learns and your CPD, which I'm not sure if you have that in the US, but it's continuing professional development. So accreditations, that kind of stuff. So providing customers and prospects and long-term partners a space to come together, not only to do for there to be some learning in there, but also just to connect on a more personal level. I know it sounds frivolous, but it's really important. Gone are the days in marketing where you can just talk about features. It's got to be more about the outcomes and the solutions and the relationships you build.
It's funny. Not only do I get a lot more people, both clients and people that have come on the podcast, talking about the extreme value that they get from hosting breakfast seminars and lunch and learns and user groups and meetups. I see people making real estate decisions now when they're going to move into a new facility or a new office building or something. And I advise the same thing even on the co-location side, that if you can put aside 1,000 square feet to be able to host events with a couple of dozen people, and you can get your sales and your marketing team using that room for several time slots a week, half a day here, a couple hours here and there, hosting some events in the evening. The ROI on it is staggering when you can host events where you're not paying hotel and convention center prices for food and coffee. And it's really out of pocket. Once you already have good email marketing and a good CRM, your out of pocket costs are almost nothing. So it's really just the creativity and the priority of getting the subject matter experts in front of the right audiences on a consistent basis to, I don't want to say monopolize their journey, but have a lot of surface area on those 28 touch points between complete stranger and purchase decisions.
Yeah, and we do. Yeah, obviously, like I said, we do a lot of that stuff with existing customers and long-term kind of prospects, but we also do a lot of stuff with graduates as well. So when we've got a kind of a graduate intake for some of our main customers, whether they're kind of tier ones or consultants, we partner with some of these consultants to do kind of periodic CPDs with these graduates, because they're going through a graduate scheme, so it's going to be some time before they're in that position to make decisions that could influence your business and your kind of your ROI. But again, with data centers, it's a longer term investment. You can't expect to see return immediately. It's all about that longer term investment and building that journey and building those touch points for a long term engagement program.
And for people that sell co-location, they may come across great prospects who are in like month 4 of a 36-month lease. Talk about a long sales cycle.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.